Well, hello and welcome to this very special episode of On Deck with Avoya, your weekly travel update. I'm your host, Chris Greene, Director of Network Expansion, and I'm with my good friend and returning guest to Avoya Travel's On Deck with Avoya, Brando Quinn, owner of Brando's Fun and Son travel agency in Sanford, Arizona. Is that right?
Sanford, Arizona.
There we go. And the reason we have Brando back on the show is Brando was part of a fantastic panel this morning. We had a chance to share his story, his agency's success, and kind of help inspire the new people that are kind of coming into our industry to kind of find that same level of success. What an honor that was. You must be really proud to have been part of that.
Yeah, somebody was saying out of the thousands of travel agents that they could have asked, why in the heck did they ask you? No, they didn't say it like that, but no, I was really honored to have been asked. And I think that here in Las Vegas that we're sharing the success not only of our travel agency, but also the success of Avoya Travel itself.
It's kind of neat that it's happening here in Las Vegas, so Brando, because it's kind of a full circle story in that, what, about 12 years ago when we were over at the Venetian, I think, with this event, that, you had a chance to first interact with some of the Avoya Travel people. And Brad Anderson, one of our co-founders of Avoya Travel, was somebody that was inspirational in explaining the Avoya history. And now here you are 12 years later, representing your own company, representing Avoya Travel on such a panel. Kind of a cool moment.
Yeah, it was a really cool moment. So yeah, I was actually the Las Vegas Travel Agent Convention, and I think that you were right. It might have been at the Venetian or Caesar's Palace. It was one or the other. But met Brad Anderson, and at the time, those guys just inspired me to join Avoya. And Chris Greene was actually very instrumental in bringing me on board. And 12 years later, here I'm $1 million agency and speaking at the convention. So it's pretty good. Pretty cool moment.
What were some of the points that you were hoping to make this morning in your presentation that would help inspire and kind of enlighten, people?
So our panel this morning discussion was trying to help new agents to give them some information on our backgrounds on how were we able to rise up the ladder to the level of success that we're at right now. So the point of the conversation kind of was geared around three different models of agencies: those with a host agency, those just doing travel agencies by themselves, and then those that are kind of a combination of both. So I have a brick and mortar, and I'm affiliated with Avoya Travel and the Travel Leaders Network. My model was kind of unique as opposed to the other two of the other two panels. So we just kind of wanted to inspire those travel advisors that are looking for a host agency to maybe think about Avoya Network, joining the Avoya Network, and how they would have really helped me to rise to the success that I'm at, that they could deliver to others as well.
One of the things that I thought stood out in the panel, and I was glad you jumped in when you did, just as a spectator, was when the woman asked the question about feeling ghosted by clients and whether or not you need to follow up. And I thought you made a great point on that, just about just how important follow-up is. And even the other person on your panel said the same thing. Hey, listen, the client will tell you when you're reaching out too many times, right? I mean, there's a difference between don't chase, but at the same time, you have to be forward about this process.
Right. I think some beginning travel agents, they tend to chase after the business rather than perfecting their technique and getting the information that they need to actually be professional travel advisors. Then you don't need to chase after them. But when somebody is contacted me, do I definitely do the follow-up? Yes, I do the follow-up. I only do it up to a point until they're ready to make the decision that yes, we're ready to travel. And so I'm not one of the pushy kind of travel agents that's driving them to make the decision. I'm more than happy to wait until the person makes the decision. But and they know I'm the when that comes.
One of the other things I thought was interesting this morning with the three panelists is that it was clear that all three of you are different. All three of you have slightly different business models. But one thing that I thought tied you all together is all three were very genuine in your approach. I think that's just a key that people kind of lose track of as far as being a great closing technique. Just be a genuine person. Have a good set of ears, listen, and then help inspire so that the client gets what they want out of
Yeah,
vacation.
that's a fact. And I think we were all in agreement on integrity being the number one. And I think that's what drew me to Avoya Travel. I just felt like Brad Anderson is the most integrity person that I've ever met. And of course, Jeff and Michael Anderson are two of the most integrity people I know as well. So I think that's the one thing in our models that we're all in agreement on. But you know, I'm just glad that I could be part of the Avoya team and that they helped.
The trade show was getting set up, so we're taping this a little earlier. You'll watch this on Thursday, but we're taping it here, so you hear the hammering in the background. It just is what it is. You know, Avoya Travel always so much about family, right? I mean, the Anderson family started with Pal and Pat, and then Van and Brad, and now Jeff and Mike. And now in your agency, as you said, you're kind of mirroring some of the things that Avoya Travel's done, including bringing your granddaughters on board here at the show. How special is that?
That's a fact. So my brick and mortar, I've tried to pattern it after what I thought maybe Pat and Pal had started their agency on, and bringing family into it. So I have two beautiful granddaughters, Elena Curtis and Michaela Curtis, that have joined my agency. Michaela for about a year and Elena for about 6 months now. And so bringing it to the next generation of our family, we love travel as well. I mean, it's exciting.
Very exciting. Hey, I want to follow up. We had you on the show last fall, and you were just about after our recording, you were just about ready to set out on this amazing journey. What was it, like 49 days doing the rivers of Europe?
My wife and I, Janet, we did do the 7 rivers of Europe journey on my airways. So we started in Paris, France, and did the Seine River down to Normandy, and then they jumped us up onto Amsterdam, and we did the Main, Moselle, and the Danube, and a couple of other tributaries, and it was one of the most spectacular trips. I wanted to do 49 days going back the other way, but it was beautiful, and then I also got to do Antarctica in January. So that was my 6th continent. My goal's been to do 7 continents for quite some time. 6th continent was Antarctica, and I did Atlas cruises. It was like going to a different planet. There's snow and ice and icebergs and whales and seals and penguins and so many birds. It was a dream come true, and I couldn't have done it without a better travel industry.
Now you get to knock off number 7 in the spring, right?
Yeah, going into Australia, it'll be number 7. So finally I've reached the 7 continents, doing Australia, New Zealand, and
So let's bring it back to your business really quick. As you take these amazing journeys, I'm assuming that a little bit of time during your day is also spent on still kind of doing some work and
still running my business, bring my laptop everywhere I go, run my business every day, answer my emails, make bookings while on board, wherever. So, and then now that I've got 2 granddaughters who are handling things back home, but it's a lot easier. But yeah, still running the business.
So let's wrap up our conversation today with a little bit of advice from you. Give a piece of advice to maybe somebody new to the industry that's just getting started that might help them move from that entry level to the first step on the ladder.
You know, do the supplier training programs, do the Avoya University, and all of the other combinations of training that Avoya has brought on board for new agents, so that you don't feel you're out there and wondering, am I capable of doing the job? Because once you know your products, the people who are interested in those products will come.
Great advice, Brando Quinn. Brando's Fun and Sun Travel. Hey, listen, so we're in Las Vegas. We're at the Las Vegas Travel Agent Forum, the 14th annual event, by the way. Next week, we're going to have a special guest that we're going to source from the show as well. So be looking for that on next week's episode of On Deck with Avoya. Hey, don't forget to our ongoing military promotion is still active. We're taking $100 off for those who have served, are serving. Brando Quinn, again, a proud veteran of the United States military, a great background to being a great travel agent. Of course, the Avoya Travel Academy. My good friend Gina Hoyt's actually helping with the camera work right here as we do this. She's at this show with me as well. The Avoya Travel Academy is red hot. And you know what I always say, think like a pro. That pro package is really the way to go. It leads you into the resources that we offer at Avoya Travel that we're so proud of. The professional development, the early success program, the brand sales, the technology, all the things that make Avoya Travel the #1 host agency in the industry. Of course, you can always give us a like or a follow on any of our social media channels at Avoya Travel Network, or just reach out. Give me pick up the phone, call me. My phone number is there on the screen. Email chris.greene@avoyatravel.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for your time, for watching our special episode with Brando Quinn. Here we are at the Las Vegas Travel Agent Forum. Again, a big thanks to Gina Hoyt. Big thanks to Annabella for producing today's segment. Big thanks to you for being part of today's episode. Till next Thursday, take care, my friend.